Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Killer Author Club. And tonight we welcome the incredible Hank Phillippi Ryan. And so we are so excited you're here. So hang on, grab your cocktail, think about all the questions that you want to ask Hank, and we will see you on the other side.
Thought you really loved me, guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me, guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done. Left me at
Hey, everybody.
Come on. Okay.
All right.
That's
Oh,
then you have
wow, perfect. I don't have mine. You look
I
quiet.
had some laying around from a couple of books ago.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody who's joined us. We are here with the Hank Phillippi Ryan, and we are here to talk about her brand new thriller, The House Guest. And so we have all kinds of fun for you tonight. So if you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you check out our Killer Author Club public page. You can get us anytime there. But if you're really a hardcore killer, check out our Killer Author Clubhouse private Facebook group. We have so much fun there as well. There's all kinds of perks to being a member of that group. We do giveaways. We have a monthly book club. And coming up on March 7th, we have Meg Gardner's Heat 2, the #1 New York Times bestselling book. And so we'll be talking all about that with tons of spoilers. So make sure you join the group in order to take part in that. We also have a YouTube channel. And Kara, how many people are
Shoot, I forgot to watch. It's exponentially growing. And all you guys have to do is just give us a like over there and we'll be so happy.
Yes. And you can find all of us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, sometimes on TikTok. So come find us wherever you are at. We are probably there. So, and without further ado, Kara, will you introduce our killer guest?
I will. I was doing the comments. Okay, here I am. Okay, Hank really doesn't need an introduction because everybody on here is like, Hank, we love Hank. So we're so excited to have you. And you know what's so great about Hank? She's such a supporter of other authors. So to have her on our show and celebrate you for once is really an honor for us. So without further ado, Hank is a USA Today best-selling author of 14 novels of suspense. She has also won multiple prestigious awards for her crime fiction, including 5 Agathas, amazing, 5 Anthonys, and the coveted Mary Higgins Clark Award. She's also an on-air investigative reporter for Boston's WHDH-TV and has won 37 Emmys, you guys, 14 Edward R. Murrow Awards, and dozens of other honors for her groundbreaking journalism. How amazing. Okay. National book reviews have called Hank a master of crafting suspenseful mysteries and a superb and gifted storyteller. Hank's novels have been named Best Thriller of the Year by Library Journal, New York Post, BookBub, Pop Sugar, Real Simple Magazine, and many others. Her current book is The House Guest, a story of psychological manipulation that explores the dark heart of marriage and friendship. It's Gaslight meets Thelma and Louise. The Library Journal starred review calls it binge-worthy. Congratulations on everything, Hank. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. I'm so honored to be with you all and have my name up, Killer Hank. I love that. And look at all the people who are here, you all. This is 1 million people.
Yeah, we have a great crowd, and we'll try to get to as many questions over there. But first, Hank, which I might have given away, but can you give us a short elevator pitch overview of The House Guest?
Sure. I love when you said Gaslight meets Thelma and Louise, which is perfect. And Gaslight meets Thelma and Louise meets Strangers on a Train. Let's think about that a little bit. The House Guest stars Alyssa McCallan. And when we meet her, thank you, Renee. And when we meet Alyssa McCallan, she is heartbroken and bereft and terrified because she has been happily married, she thought, for the past 8 years to the fabulous Bill McCallan. They're madly in love. Bill is handsome and very affluent and very powerful and a little bit manipulative, but But, Alyssa thought everything was happy. And one day, Bill just walked out. And he seems to be, what makes it worse than this shocking leaving her. I'm babbling now, you all. What makes it worse than that is that it seems like Bill is trying to ruin her life. He's threatened to take the friends. He's threatened to take the house. He's threatened to take the money. And Alyssa cannot figure out why. Something is really wrong. And when the FBI shows up at her door, she realizes that she really needs a friend. And then she gets one. A seductive new friend named Bree Lawrence, who seems to be running from a dangerous man herself. And Bree offers an intriguing proposition. Maybe they can solve each other's problems. So two smart women facing off in a high-stakes psychological cat and mouse game to prove their truth about a devastating betrayal. But which woman is the cat and which woman is the mouse? And they say in a devastating divorce, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you deserve. And that is the house.
Love it. Love it.
Loved it. Loved it. Yes. And so you also chose a specific cocktail for this book, the Agatha. So can you, which looks delicious. I could not find mint leaves, so I couldn't make it, but I will totally drink this. Anything with lime juice and mint.
Yes, exactly. It looks like this.
Gorgeous.
When you make one,
Yeah.
except it's somehow, and it's a very summery drink. So I'll come back in the summer and we'll all make Agathas.
Love it.
We had them for the first time at a restaurant here in Boston called Number 9 Park, which is glorious and glamorous and elegant and wonderful. And it was to celebrate one of my Agatha awards. So the drink is not really called an Agatha. It's really called a Palmyra. But my husband and I renamed it in honor of the Agatha.
Love it. Love it. That was going to be my question. Like, why is it called the Agatha? But now I get it. Okay. Well, cheers, everyone. I'm drinking water. Boring.
Got some wine.
Where did we get those killer cocktail glasses?
Well, let us tell you.
We have so much drinking options and taps.
Yeah.
You could drink a lot of wine in one of these.
All kinds of merch at killerauthorclub.com. So,
Yes.
yeah, check it out there.
Tons of merch. Check it all out.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
I mean, I've been on book tour for the past 2 weeks. I have no idea where I am half the time. It's just been great, but it's amazing. The House Guest has been a Barnes and Noble bestseller, an Amazon bestseller, an Audible bestseller. It's just been. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, you should be.
It's only been out for what? A week? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And I found out that it is now in a second printing. It's already in a second
That's
printing.
amazing. Congrats.
Breaking news for you all. I haven't told anybody that yet.
Well, that's wonderful.
Good. Breaking news. We should have a little ticker. Breaking news.
Well, and New York Times bestselling author Lisa Scottolini says Ryan is one of my favorite authors, and the House Guest shows why. And Tamron Hall says, kept me on the edge of my seat. The Publisher's Weekly Rave Review says Ryan is a master of suspense. So all the accolades go to you, Hank. It's just such an exciting time. But we have a big question for you right now, because we always ask our guests the burning questions, and we want to know, how do you kill? Now, we don't want any spoilers, of course, but what are some different ways you like to do away with some of your characters?
That's such a crazy question, because I will confess to you that the part of writing psychological suspense that I like the least is when you have to kill someone. And I don't like to. And I said to my husband once, could I just have somebody be really kind of badly hurt, and then they go into the hospital, and then they get well, and then they realize that they've been a terrible person and they're going to be better. And Jonathan says, honey, You don't write person gets really hurt and go to the hospital mysteries. You write murder mysteries. So someone has to die. And then another time, Jonathan and I were out to dinner, and I was thinking about how to kill someone, how I was going to kill someone in a book. And I said, so, you can't just push someone off a bridge because they might not die. And the waiter goes, ma'am. I'm like, it's a book. It's a book. It's a book. But it's interesting. Harlan Coben once told me to write the kind of books you love to read, and you all know this. So I don't like graphic violence, and I just don't put it in my books. But I do like deception and manipulation and gaslighting, and I do think that the damage and the destruction that we all do to each other, not you all, but we all do, characters do to each other, by manipulation and deception and lying can be just as devastating as with a gun or a knife. So I sort of tend to kill people by what looks like an accident, but it might not be. That's how I do it.
Mhm.
And we can see
The
how
murder isn't the point. The murder isn't the point. The point is that someone wants something and will just do anything to get it.
Right.
So
yeah, and we can see how expertly you do that with Alyssa's character, because she's absolutely devastated, by what her ex-husband has been doing to her, and we can just feel her pain.
well, that's interesting and such a perceptive thought, because who of us hasn't been heartbroken in our lives? We all have. You don't need to raise your hand, you commenters. I know. And when that happens, we're completely in a state of disequilibrium. I mean, we just don't know what to do. And we go through those phases of breakup, that you're in denial, and then you're sad, and then you're angry, and then you want revenge.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens to Alyssa. She has to figure out how to get her power back. And isn't that what the books we write are about? How to get, characters getting their power back. And that's what I wanted for Alyssa.
Yeah. Yeah. I say that a lot of time, like with the stories that I write and that I like to read, it's like you said, there's something always awful that happens, but really it's about how the people respond to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And that how people respond to harm or danger or threats or disruption in their lives is what reveals their personality.
Yep.
They're just the decision-making process. Are they a good person or an evil person? The reader discovers that along the way when they see the decisions that the characters make. And that's what's fun for me to write.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally agree.
I
So
agree too.
I have it like a broad questions, not in the killing vein, but so are you a plotter or a pantser?
I am a total pantser. I am a devastatingly total pantser. And I'm telling you, Kara, how that is a tightrope. It is such a combination, I guess, of super confidence and naivete.
Yes.
You type chapter 1 and you think, okay, 100,000 words to go. And they're going to be something. And in X number of months, there'll be a whole book. And you don't know what it is. And the idea that we take the leap to do that. I mean, my editor, there's not a book that's gone by, and The House Guest is my 14th. There's not a book that's gone by where my editor says, can you just send me an outline?
I know they always
and I'm like, no. And I say to them, because how do I know what happens until it happens?
Right.
And it doesn't happen until my characters make those decisions that Heather was talking about and Kimberly was talking about, until my characters make those decisions, and then I see what happens. So I don't know till it does. She doesn't really think that's a very good excuse, I don't think. But
but along those lines, when you think of a story, do you come up first with the plot, like the premise, or do you think the characters come first?
It's all the same. There's a thing that happens to someone in a place, and that one domino tips over, and creates the whole rest of the story. Everything in a story happens because of something. So because of something that happens to the main character, she does something that causes everything else to happen.
But
And
so you have the main character in your head then when you come up with the
well,
premise.
and quickly I can tell you when the house guest came from, and I'll tell you this very fast. The house guest came from a pal of mine that I had years ago, another lifetime, who was happily married to a wonderful guy. They both had smart, reliable, successful jobs. And every morning she'd say goodbye to him and she'd go off to work and he'd go off to work. And they were happy until the feds came to the door.
Oh,
And it
God.
turned out that he had never gone to work at all. He did not have a job. The whole thing was pretend, seriously.
Wow.
And he stayed home every day and was doing nefarious, hideous, disgusting, criminal things on the computer. So criminal and disgusting that he was arrested and charged and convicted. And the point is, when you're talking about where the story comes from, my friend had no idea. I mean, she was smart. She was savvy. This is a more than competent modern woman, and she just had no idea. So I started thinking, how well do we really know the person whose pillow is next to ours?
Yeah.
What could they be keeping a secret from us? And in all the research I did, I found it so often that we're talking about women, I guess now, that the wives don't know what the husband is doing until the cops come. And that's the domino. So when you say which came first, my friend's story was lurking in my head. And one day when I was trying to think of what my next book would be, I thought, I wonder about that. I wonder about her story. I wonder if you could keep a secret. And that's where it started.
That is terrifying.
Because now, it's interesting because for the whole pandemic, so far, yes, Facebook user, it is creepy. For the whole pandemic, I've been sitting right here in this office writing my novels right here. And Jonathan has been, my husband, who's a criminal defense attorney, has been, Janet says it is terrifying. My husband, who's a criminal defense attorney, has commandeered the breakfast room for his law office for the past 3 years. And it started crossing my mind that, I know what Jonathan does. He's a lawyer. I know what lawyers do. But what is he really doing in there? For 8 hours a day at a desk and I don't see him, what is he really doing? And then I thought, really, how does he know what I'm doing? I say I'm writing psychological suspense, but who knows what I'm doing in here? You remember in The Shining when Jack Nicholson is like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, typing that over and over and over, how scary that is. I could be doing that. So we assume, and here's my point finally, we assume that our lives are how we think they are. And we accept that until the day that someone pulls the rug out from under us. And everything we thought was right and everything that we thought was true just isn't. And that's what I was going for in The House Guest. And so I needed a character. Marcia says, I feel badly about your friend, but the book was amazing. She knows. Before I sent in the book, I called her and said, I'm going to do this. And it's not about you and it's not about your life. And the book isn't about that. Any of you who have read the book, and thank you if you have. Any of you who have read the book, well, no, it's not really about that, but it kind of is about that.
Yeah. It's kind of what sets off the story, right?
Yeah, the spark that sets the story up. Yeah.
Now, in your other life as a reporter, and you have covered thousands of stories of, crime stories, other stories. Is there, and we wish all crimes, of course, could be solved. Is there one that has stuck with you through the years and maybe that you'll write about someday? Or is there anything that jumps out?
Sure. I think that's such a good question. I've wired myself with hidden cameras and confronted corrupt politicians and chased down criminals and gone undercover and in disguise. So all of those things go into my novels. My books aren't my TV stories made into fiction, but all those little puzzle pieces kind of come together. We found devastating problems in the state's 911 system here in Massachusetts that were sending emergency responders, police and firefighters to the wrong address. thousands of times a year, and the state was not keeping track of it and wasn't correcting the mistakes. And we found out why that was happening and got that fixed. I mean, we fixed the 911 system. We found fire houses, where the places where firefighters live and work. We found firehouses in such terrible condition that they wouldn't pass fire inspection. Firehouses. So we got millions of dollars appropriated in Massachusetts to fix up firehouses. And we found such devastating problems in the mortgage lending and home improvement contracting systems that 3 new laws were passed to prohibit the evils that we found. So we have, my producer and I have made a difference in the world. And, it's just been, and then there was the time that I'll tell you this really fast. We were doing a really silly story about a wedding photographer who, it isn't silly if you're the bride, when this guy came, took her video of her wedding, and then held the video hostage and said, if you don't pay me $1,000 more, you can't have your wedding video.
That's terrible.
I know. So, it seems like a silly story, but, that's heartbreaking. So we staked this guy out, and I had 2 photographers, and we knew he was upstairs in this building. We knew he couldn't get out without going by me. So I had a photographer in the parking lot and a photographer with me, and we waited, and we heard the footsteps upstairs coming down. And then he stopped at the landing and saw me and my photographer, and he knew he couldn't get by. So he just powered down the stairs and pushed me down. Yeah, so I tumble onto the floor. But of course, that's stupid because my photographer is right there getting a picture.
Right.
And then my photographer in the parking lot getting a picture of him running away. So we microwaved the video back to the station. I got a call from the promotion department saying, we're going to put that right on TV. We're going to promote the heck out of this story. And she says, and we're also going to say what you said when he pushed you. And I said, I didn't say anything. And she says, oh, yeah, you did. So I said, you got to tell me what I said before you put that on TV. So it turns out I said, in the midst of this chaos, I said, please, sir, don't push me. And I thought my mother would be so proud.
Didn't he cuss? I would have cussed.
Aw, that's so sweet. And did you get the wedding?
Oh, yeah, so we got the goods. We got her video back. We found many other videos of other brides that he had also kept, and we got them all their wedding videos back. So that's nice.
So do people see you coming in your hometown and they're like, oh crap, what did I do?
I have never had people hang up on me all the time. They turn around and run away. It's interesting because when I started, Barbara says, don't mess with Hank. When I started as a reporter, I'm the tough guy. I'm the aggressive guy. I'm the contentious guy. I'm the one with the questions. And when I started writing fiction and going to libraries and going to, other events, bookstores, and people would come up to me here in Massachusetts and say, I've never seen you laugh. I've never seen you smile. You're so nice. They would say, like this was this thing. Because I'm the tough guy. I've been the tough guy for 43 years now, actually. And so this whole new writing a book and writing books and being with you all is just a whole new part of my life that I love.
Love it.
So much. Well, speaking of libraries, you told me the best story once about libraries when you were a child.
Oh.
Right? And can you just share that? I just
think my golly, certainly.
Libraries here, and we're such supporters of our local libraries. Can you share, your love for libraries and how you got your books?
Well, it's interesting because where would we all be? All of us here on the screen and all of us in the comments, where would we all be without libraries? I grew up in really rural Indiana, really rural, so rural that you couldn't see another house from our house. And my sister and I used to ride our ponies to the library. Cadet and Sable were their very clever names. We used to ride Cadet and Sable to the library, and we'd fill up our saddlebags with books and then read up in the hayloft of the barn behind our house. That's where I fell in love with storytelling, with Nancy Drew, The Clue in the Old Clock, right? And how many of you in the comments read Nancy Drew? Right? I know you did. The Clue in the Old Clock and The Clue in the Diary, which I thought was Clue in the Dairy for the whole time. I was 8. I thought it was Clue in the Dairy for the whole book. And I thought, there should be cows. There should really be cows. But and then there weren't. So then I read all the Sherlock Holmes short stories and novellas and learned about clues and character and storytelling and forward motion and narrative thrust. And then I remember reading so clearly, I think I was about 12, reading Murder on the Orient Express, one of my library books. And I just thought, this is fabulous. This is amazing to have this brilliant page-turning story with an ending that was so surprising, but so perfect. Every loose end tied up, every question answered. And I won't say how if you all haven't read it, but I just thought I love books. I love storytelling. And whatever happens in my life after this, I want to be a storyteller. So it's interesting because it crossed my mind to be a detective as well. So now as an investigative reporter, I am a detective.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you kind of do both, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it turned out to be, I mean, our lives are so complex and beautiful
Yeah.
at the same time. You know, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And congratulations on making your dreams come true too.
Yeah, no joke. And
you.
I'm
It
tired.
took
Like when I
a
hear
long
about
time.
everything you're doing, you
Yeah,
have
a
so
lot of
much going on.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't start writing till I was 55. And,
Wow.
and so it took a long time for those
Right.
dreams to come true. And now 15 books later, I just sent in my new book.
Wow. That's
15 books
amazing.
later, here we go. This whole new second half of my life is quite
awesome.
amazing.
It's very inspiring, Hank. It really is.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Seriously.
Amazing. Yeah, as you can see from all the comments.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes, look at these comments. I love you all.
I know. It's so fun.
I know.
And when I'm looking over here, I'm looking at the comments. I'm not looking away. I'm looking at Brenda.
Yeah.
Saying,
And I'm pointing to the
Brenda
comments
says
too.
Trixie Belden. Yes, Trixie Belden. Absolutely. I have a couple of Trixie Belden books in them. You can sort of see them.
Love it. So Renee wants to know, does Jonathan read your books? Is he one of your first readers?
Hi, Renee. I'm sorry I missed you in Florida. I didn't go far enough south, I guess. Jonathan turns out to be this phenomenal proofreader, for one thing, unbelievable proofreader, and a brilliant and thoughtful reader. When I started writing my first book, I'll tell this quickly. I'm keeping an eye on the time. When I started writing my first book, I would take him every day. I'd take him 5 pages, and I'd hear him. I'd sneak around the corner and listen behind the wall to hear his reaction, and he would laugh because my first books were kind of funny, prime time. And after about 10 days of 5 pages a day, I listened around the corner, as I always did because I'm so needy, and there was nothing. There was no reaction. There was nothing from him. So I said, "Oh, honey," I came out and said, "I'm bad, right? I stink. I'm a terrible writer. I shouldn't do this. This isn't going to work." And Jonathan says, "No, honey, you're a really good writer, and this is going to be good." He said, "But I'm 50 pages into this. Is something going to happen soon?" And that was my first lesson in writing. So Jonathan is just that good, Renee. He absolutely calls me on it when he sees it. These days now, as we've progressed, he doesn't read my books until they're really finished.
Yeah.
And then my question that I always say to him after he reads it is, "Does it seem like a real book?" And he's like, "Yes, honey, it seems like a real book."
I love it. Well, we all need first readers, right? And people who kind of, point the way when we are doing something that's maybe not the best way it should be.
Well, he's a criminal defense attorney, so it's always good to have in-house counsel.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Great.
So, Hank, we hear you're giving away a copy of The House Guests to one lucky killer.
Not only a copy of The House Guest, but a gorgeous house guest.
Oh, I love that.
A gorgeous house guest pashmina. And
Ooh.
I didn't tell you all this because I wanted it to be a surprise for all of your fabulous killer readers. Look at all these people. It's amazing. So a house guest, a signed copy of The House Guest, a first edition, because there will not be many more of these available. So if you want to buy this book, you better get it fast if you want a first edition. Right. And a gorgeous, glorious house guest Pashmina.
Amazing.
So
And
nice.
all you have to do to be eligible in the giveaway is answer this question about our killer guest, and we will come back tomorrow around this time and pick a random person who had the correct answer. Bonus points when you join the clubhouse or subscribe to our YouTube channel. The question is, besides being a best-selling novelist, in what other profession does Hank win all the awards?
No cheating, people. No cheating. We've been over this before. Okay. All right. So our next segment is about our killer bookseller of the week. The Killer Author Club loves bookstores, of course, and appreciates your support of them. Hank selected 2. The Poison Pen and Page 158 books, where you can order your own copy of Find Me. Find Me. That's the wrong book.
You can also do that. You can get Find Me, right?
You can find me there. You can also get the personal assistant, page 158.
Right now is this one. Okay, so anyway, Hank, tell us why these stores are special to you.
Well, Page 158 Books and I got connected. Page 158 Books in Wake Forest and I got connected early in the pandemic. And I think it was because I was supposed to go there for an event and couldn't go. And they figured out a way that they would offer my signed books that I could personally sign to people. So they take my orders, they ship me the order, I sign the book, and I mail it out from here with free shipping. And that's a lot of work for them to do, but it's been very successful, and I adore them for that. And I just came from doing an event at Page 158 Books, whatever day it was last week, and people came. So it was standing room only, I have to say, and people came in their sunglasses and their black hats. So awesome. How fun is that?
Yeah, so fun. They were so excited to hear that you.
They're amazing.
They were so sweet. Like, what do we do? I'm like, nothing. We're just going to celebrate you.
Hank, I want to know what you wrote on the bathroom wall, because they always have their authors sign the bathroom wall.
You have to go to Page 158 Books to find out.
Okay.
That's a mystery. That's a mystery. But I love that wall. You could stay in there forever just reading all the wonderful authors.
Yes.
What did you put?
No. People have to go there. You have to go there.
Yeah.
No telling.
I thought it was very clever, though.
Yeah.
They do that at the Thurber House in Columbus too, like James Thurber's place, and everybody writes in the closet. So fun. Okay. Killer Author Club also needs to celebrate some people, since we don't have time to have every author. I mean, it's such a blessing. Like, people really want to be on the show and we can't fit everyone, but we have a special segment called Killer Author Club Celebrate. Okay, really, need we say more? I think not. Okay, so we're celebrating Death of a Dancing Queen by Kimberly. That was really cute. Okay, Giratano's Death of a Dancing Queen. A female Jewish PI finds herself involved in a deadly gang war suspect in this new Own Voices crime novel. Congratulations, Kimberly. And in Karen Kutcher's The Greedy 3, a kidnapping goes awry. 3 desperate characters find themselves trapped inside a remote cabin with a baby and a bag full of money. They both sound really good. So congratulations to the 2 authors, and we are celebrating them. So you guys check out their books.
I see Dorothy Montanez is here. I saw her last night in Vero Beach. Is that not crazy?
No way.
That's been,
She can't get enough of you.
I know. You got a lot of fans, Hank. It's awesome.
Isn't that nice? I mean, the idea that we all get to know each other because of the silly pandemic, and here the 4 of us are, and here these wonderful readers and authors are in the comments, and I know who every single one of these people is, and that's
except Facebook user.
Somebody has not allowed StreamYard to use their name, so
It's all StreamYard.
Yeah.
And
I love it, though. You just really have to love it.
Yeah.
And because membership has its privileges, every episode we give away a little bit of swag from the Killer Author Clubhouse if you're a member. So to win a little bit of swag, all you have to do is join. So come on over and see us. And so we have Jennifer Yu as our winner this week. So Jennifer, please send the killers your address, and we'll get you some killer swag sent your way. So congratulations to Jennifer Yu.
Congratulations.
That's so cool.
And Hank, we have a special something for you too, because you have officially survived the Killer Author Club. This is your official badge. You can hang it on your wall. We'll send it to you. You can wear
I
it on
will
your
do that.
face.
I will do that. I will get a T-shirt made with that. I survived.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because do we have T-shirts?
You have T-shirts?
Oh my God. We have
We have
T-shirts, we have sweatshirts.
Show
we
the
have-
new cute. I love that bag.
I
Yeah.
know. Look at this
It looks
bag.
like paper dolls. Remember paper dolls? They're just so
Yes,
perfect.
I
You can
know.
have little outfits for them.
We have that. We have like mugs again. We have the badges. We have hats. We have so much stuff.
We have a
You could
candle.
just. Oh, yep, candles. You can be Killer
Yeah,
Author Club head
candles.
to toe if you. Yeah, candles. And I meant to bring my sweatshirt up. We have sweatshirts now with like hoodies. It's awesome. Yeah, so we have a lot of swag. So if you need anything, just check out killerauthorclub.com.
For sure. So we will be back 2 weeks from tonight. Is it 2 weeks from tonight? March 7th. We have a double header, 2 episodes of the Killer Author Club in one night. We start with our book club with Meg Gardner, who will be discussing Heat 2, which was her #1 New York Times bestseller. So definitely start reading that if you haven't already. Because we're going to have tons and tons of spoilers. We're going to ask her everything, all your burning questions. And then at 9, we will be joined by #1 Amazon charts bestselling author Elle Marr to celebrate the release of her newest thriller, The Family Bones. I just finished it. It's fabulous. Loved it. So 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock on March the 7th. Mark your calendars. It's going to be a fun-filled evening. So thank you, Hank, for being here. See you guys in 2 weeks. In the meantime, make sure to follow us all 4 on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and YouTube and everywhere else you can think of. Go shopping for some cool swag, and at the Poison Pen and page 158 for some books by all of Hank's backlist.
Yeah.
And maybe send him an email and ask what she wrote on the wall in the bathroom. And we will see you guys back here in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Hank.
Thank you. Love you all.
Thank you.
I guess I